the law of demand. This law of demand has been put forward by a well-known neoclassical economist Alfred Marshall. According to Alfred Marshall, demand is nothing but demand is a desire backed by purchasing power. When we need to discuss the law of demand. This states that other things being equal, the demand is higher with the fall in price and diminishes with rise in price. In simple words, law of demand states that when price increases, demand falls and vice versa, which means that when price falls, demand increases. This law is based on certain assumptions. Number one is that there is no change in the income of the consumers. Second assumption of the law of demand is that there is no change in the quantity of money in circulation. Third assumption is there is no change in the price of substitutes. Fourth assumption is tastes and preferences of a consumer is constant, and finally, there is no change in the size of population. This law of demand can be explained with the help of a simple table. On this table, there are two columns. First column shows price and the second column shows quantity of demand. It is clear that as and when price reduces 5 to 4, 4 to 3, 3 to 2, demand increases 5 to 10, 10 to 15 and finally 15 to 20. This is nothing but inverse relationship of price and quantity of demand. Same table can be explained with the help of a simple diagram. On this graph, OY axis shows price and OX shows demand. When price contracts or falls by 5 to 4, 4 to 3, 3 to 2, then demand increases from 5 to 10, 10 to 15 and 15 to 20. On the other hand, when price goes up 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5, demand contracts 20 to 15, 15 to 10, 10 to 5. DD refers to demand curve. As and when price increases, demand curve falls negatively by stating that increase in price contracts demand. This is nothing but an inverse relationship or opposite relation between price and quantity of demand. Further, we need to study on the factors those could influence on the law of demand. The first important influencing factor is that price of a commodity. When price is high, demand is low. When the price is low, demand is high. This is nothing but an inverse relationship between price and demand. A consumer wants to buy more and more commodities when the price is low. He does not want to buy more and more when the price is high. Second important factor is income of the people. When income of the people increases, this enhances their ability to pay, and finally, they buy more. On the other hand, when the income contracts, then there could be a reduction in purchasing power. Therefore, finally, what will happen is low demand. Third factor which is going to influence demand is utility of a commodity. What is utility? Utility refers to satisfying power of a commodity. When a good possesses a higher quantity of utility, consumers they are going to buy more and more. Otherwise, which means that when a commodity does not have any utility, satisfaction power or satisfying power, then no consumer wants to buy. Therefore, demand curbs or contracts. And another important factor which will influence the law of demand is habits and conventions. When the people are habituated to certain habits and conventions, when consumers are subject to habits and conventions, sure demand is going to enhance. Otherwise, it means that when people are not habituated to any habits and conventions, demand contracts. Next, climatic conditions. During different seasons or climatic conditions, different quantity of goods and services will be demanded. For example, during summer, more and more soft drinks, more and more white clothes will be demanded. During winter, more and more hot drinks like coffee and tea will be demanded. During rainy season, there could be a more demand for umbrellas, rain shoe and so on. And another important factor which is going to influence demand is advertisements or salesmanship. Whenever there is an effective salesmanship, undoubtedly customers they are going to buy more and more, because an effective salesmanship or advertisement attracts customers. Though product is good, if there is no salesmanship or advertisement, if no consumer comes to know about the commodities, sales cannot be promoted. And further, taxation. Taxation here what will happen is, when the government is going to impose a high rate of taxation on manufacturers, cost of production increases. When cost increases, price of a commodity goes up. When price goes up, demand automatically curbs. On the other hand, when taxation will be lesser, then cost will become lower, and finally, price becomes cheaper and enhances demand. And last factor which is going to influence demand is speculation of price change. Sometimes consumers, they predict that in the short future price of a commodity is going to enhance. For example, before the announcement of budget or before waging up of a war, these conditions consumers, they anticipate a hike in price or shortage of commodities, therefore demand varies. Next, I would like to discuss a few exceptions of the law of demand. What are the exceptions? Under these conditions, the law of demand is not going to hold good, it becomes an unrealistic theory. First exception is Veblen effect. What is Veblen effect is, rich people knowingly they buy costlier goods or conspicuous goods. For example, buying a diamond ring, buying a Mercedes Benz, this and all an example of Veblen effect. Veblen was an economist, he observed this condition, and finally, this is an important exception of law of demand where this law is not hold good, it will become unrealistic concept. Second is in case of fear of shortage of goods. Earlier slide I have told you that we have discussed in case of fear of shortage of commodities during natural calamities or during any contagious diseases, as presently corona is there, we can't get any mask among any medical shop, because consumers in advance they have bought surplus masks, they are going to store additional things, additional products to encode the situation where law of demand is absolutely, it is a utter flop. Next is in case of essential goods like medicine, food items, the law of demand is not going to applicable, because people they do not care of money, they need to buy medicine, they need to buy daily essential goods in order to prolong day to day life. And in case of inferior goods, a consumer buys less at a lower price and more at a higher price. This is nothing but Giffin's effect. Thank you.